You're listening to TG1F, an F1 podcast with Kate and Nicole.
We're your hosts. I'm Kate.
And I'm Nicole.
And this is our show, where we talk about all things Formula One.
And a lot of things that are not Formula One, too.
Because why the heck not?
This is your formal invitation to a weekly hangout with your F1 BFFs, where we'll talk on-track action, off-track gossip, and throw in some hot pop culture topics.
It doesn't matter if you're a seasoned F1 fan, a curious newbie, or literally just think the drivers are hot. Because they are. There's a little something in this podcast for everyone.
Speaking of which, did you hear what happened this week?
No, tell me about it.
It's lights out and away we go, baby. All right, let's kick it off. I know you're not feeling the best, so I appreciate.
I'm not feeling really good right now.
Because she's got her drugs, aka her medicated cough drops.
Guys, if you don't know the lore, I don't know if we talked about this. I feel like we've talked about this. We've had to have talked about this.
We had in the 119 episodes that we've done.
It has to have come up at least once. I did have a slight addiction to Cepacol cough drops in college. Haven't had one since. However, I had a bad sore throat at work today. Just like the sign of bad things to come for me. Anytime I had like a weird like dry patch, the back of my throat, and you know it's like at the back of like your nose canal, and you're like it almost feels like you've been sleeping with your mouth open.
No matter how much water you drink, like nothing is solving that problem.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, I'm getting sick.
Yeah, it's
coming. Here it comes. So, and obviously it's my birthday this weekend, and everyone's coming here, so I was like, I shan't be sick. So I did go out. Got my Vice. She's back. She's back.
She's back on the wagon.
I've had 3 of them. I think you're only supposed to have one every like 2 hours. So
perfect.
Check on me in a couple days, and if I'm still using them after I feel better,
that's when we know. No, I'm gonna catch you sneaking off at your party. Like I'm like, Kate, what do you have in your mouth? And you're like, nothing.
It's literally like a dog. What's in your mouth? Open up. What's in your mouth? I grab my. What do you have in there? I'm just like, it's a cough drop.
Nothing. She swallows it. I'll get you.
Oh man. Well, we have a fun show today because we're doing something a little bit different.
Yeah, we are. We're iterating. We're iterating. We're not pivoting, but we're staying. We're growing. We're iterating.
Because as human beings, I think that we're always changing and we're always growing.
Are we?
So
one thing we're never changing and growing from is quoting Bridesmaids when we say that. So
one thing that will literally never change. So we're going to give a little context here for the people is that, you know, Nicole and I have been doing this, like Nicole just said, for almost, I think this is 120 episodes plus, probably more than that, including mini-sodes.
All our spin-offs, all of our side quests.
Like, embarrassing for us. But we've been doing things pretty much the same way from the beginning. And I think that we're both kind of feeling like it's time for us to update the way that we're doing
refresh. We're getting bored with the way that we're doing things. So we can't imagine that you're not getting bored with the way that we're doing things.
So we're going to start implementing. You guys know we don't always do good with an agenda, but we're going to be implementing sub-segments to kind of keep things on track, keep things in sequence, keep ourselves in the here and the now.
You know what to expect every week, a little fun here and there.
We'll obviously keep the chaotic vibes. That's kind of our shtick, if you will. And we are hopefully going to be implementing and introducing one new podcast every month, a bonus episode, if you will, almost like a blooper reel. So kind of any crazy off-tangent things that we come across in these episodes that we're like, okay, relax, girls. This doesn't fit into the episode and it's making it too long. We're going to cut those out, but we're going to give them to you because I think over the years, there have been a lot of those times that we've been like, this was really funny, but the episode is way too long. We got to cut it out. And there's like unreleased clips out there. So we're going to just start reusing those and giving them to you for free. And
Guess what? For free, baby. You don't even have to pay.
Don't even have to pay. Free
Everyone's
feet
like,
pic.
thank God I wasn't gonna anyway.
They're like, that's not something I would pay for. So we're gonna be doing that, and we're just really curious to see what you guys think. It's also something where, you know, we find ourselves wanting to talk about everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so much goes on in this sport. You guys know when we say nothing happened this week, surprise,
90
so
minutes
many things
later.
happen that we talk for 90 minutes. So we find ourselves wanting to talk about too much, but not being able to kind of deep dive into the things that we really would like to. So we're going to keep things organized on a week to week basis. But if there are things that we didn't get to in the weeks that we still like really want to talk about, that could be something that shows up in the bonus episode. So that one, straight chaos vibes. So if that's kind of your jam, definitely make sure you listen to those. If you're someone that kind of likes segments and likes to know what's coming, I hope you really like these weekly episodes. So what we're gonna do, this is all something that you can, be prepared for every week. Is we're gonna do some Grand Prix caps or grand previews. So we're going to talk about anything that happened in the race this past weekend, what's coming up for the weekend ahead. We're also going to have the Two Girls O'Clock News, which is going to be a couple headlines, things that you need to know in the sport from this week. So really kind of easy for you to digest what the biggest things are. Then we're going to get into social stars, which are just a couple things the drivers did on social media that we loved this week
Mm-hmm.
that we want to discuss. So I'll give you a hint here. Lewis's Broncos
Oh,
schedule
yeah.
video. Gotta talk about it. We're gonna get into a segment called Fast Fashion. So that's everything from Carlos's mustache to what magazine is Joe starring on week by week. We're gonna talk about some things that have a little bit to do with fashion and lifestyle. Girls' room. We're gonna tailor this down. We're gonna talk
Classic.
about one wag a week. So, kind of wag of the week style, where we can either deep dive into a wag that we are really curious about or you guys are curious about, talk about someone that did something really cool this past week, kind of whatever we want. And then a new segment that we are very excited about and something that we have done on this podcast before, but also something that we do in our everyday lives, bitching hour.
Hmm.
A take on the witching hour, but this is where Nicole and I are going to pick one topic in F1 that we want to complain about this week. And it's
Yep.
just going to be a little complaining segment. So, very cathartic. And then to round it all out, we're going to close out with good vibes with Manifest Minute, as always.
We sure
So,
as heck are.
without further ado, let's get into the Imola Grand Prixcap.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one thing the first thing that I want to talk about kind of kicked off the weekend was the Art and Senna run,
Yeah.
hosted and organized by
The
the man,
one,
the
the
legend,
only
Sebastian Vettel.
Sebastian Vettel.
He's back, baby.
Good to
And
see
what
him
a joy
again.
it was.
What a joy. I like the smile was ear to ear on my
Ear
face when
to
I
ear.
saw pictures from Imola of him. I was like, it feels like daddy's home. Like daddy's
Daddy's
home.
home.
He's here to make things right. He's here to make you feel safe.
He's here with a slogan t shirt.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that he loves.
He showed up.
Slogan t shirt.
Yeah.
He
He showed up
loves to
with his
be,
running shoes and a matching t-shirt and he said, I'm
and
here.
but without one very important thing, no headband.
No headband and also a new hairstyle.
And correct me if I'm wrong, and I almost don't want to say this. It feels like the plugs are not working anymore.
It just was like it was such an interesting, I think the haircut, I want to say it aged him, but it also made him look young. Like he looked kind of old and rugged when he had his like long curly hair with the headband. But with
Yes.
this new haircut, he looks like I'm looking for a man in finance, 6'5",
He
trust
looks
fund.
younger,
He looks like,
but more mature.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Kind of he looks like he's put together. He's a businessman.
Yeah, the long
That's what I'm
hair.
saying. Like he looks like your dad. Like he's like
Yes.
your
Yeah.
your friend's
That's
hot dad. Like that's who
that's
he is.
me. Like long hair headband was giving that guy that like still goes to like fish shows.
Yeah,
And
100%.
it's like, I go to Burning Man, but I'm like 55. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like that guy that's like old, but very young at heart, but you're
Yeah.
like, you might want to grow up a little tiny bit. Like maybe we should get a job. But this one is now giving, I have a job, but I'm aging so gracefully that I actually look younger
Yeah,
Benjamin Button style.
exactly.
So we're feeling good about the hair, though I do feel like maybe the plugs aren't working because the hairline did seem to be receding
It
back to
did,
where
but the
back
hard part is that we don't really know because he had the curly hair and it
right.
came down in front. So it was like
You're
it
right.
kind of covered whatever was
You're
going
so
on. So
right.
I'm not sure.
You're right. Okay. Well, something else about this run that was top of mind for me, and I think everyone looking, was the photo of all the drivers. They're all wearing their yellow
They're matching
Argentina
t-shirts.
Senna Sempre shirts, except for one driver, Max Verstappen. He said, I will not wear that gaudy yellow. It is not my color wheel, and I will not wear it. And people were very divided
Yeah, it
on the
was. Yeah,
internet.
it was an interesting day to be on the internet.
People were like, he's the devil's spawn. He's
Hmm.
the worst human being in the entire world that he's not wearing this t-shirt. He knows what he's doing and he's sending a bad message. And other people were like, this is kind of classic Max, that he was just like kind of unaware and just like didn't want to wear the shirt.
Well, they were
And
also
he
like,
realized it was mandatory.
who has who has it out for Max because his PR person was like, you'll be fine, don't worry about it. No one else is gonna be wearing the shirt. You're fine. Okay. He shows up and he's like, well, I guess I didn't get the memo.
Yeah.
Like, not even under his jacket. Like, Charles had it on under his jacket. He quickly took it off for the photo. Like, nothing. No one prepped Max at all for this.
We're
I would
like, did
love
his
to
just
hear.
not arrive?
Yeah.
One didn't, they didn't, maybe, here's the thing, maybe they only ordered 20 of them for the 20 drivers on the grid, but Seb had one, obviously, and so that made 21.
So Max
So
was like,
Max
in
didn't
my gracious
yeah.
heart
He
of
was
hearts, I will
acting,
give you my shirt off my back. I will give you
yes,
the shirt off my back, literally.
literally. And he would
So
do that for Seb. And I think that speaks volumes for Max's character. So people that are trying to assassinate his character, think about it the other way. Think about what
I
else could have happened.
I truly don't believe Max intentionally did not wear that shirt.
No,
Like,
I don't think so
I
either.
know we like rag on Max a lot on this podcast, but like I can't imagine a situation in which he did that on purpose.
No, me either.
That's just not him.
No, I don't. I truly, I don't believe that. So yeah. Also, there was it was the Yuki next to Esteban of it all as well.
I know they
Just like who's setting up these photos? Like, did they set them up? Did someone place them? Did nobody say, "Hey, Yuke, maybe don't
scoot over
stand
a
next
little
to
bit.
Skeletor. Like, leave salad fingers over there and you go to the other side." It's like when people are like short people in the front. Like, I feel like someone should have.
Yeah,
You've got professional photographers here, and they should be doing their jobs posing these photos. And that's all I'll
absolutely.
say about
Absolutely. It was a big weekend for Max
that.
outside of him causing turmoil on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
He, again, won.
One.
No surprises there. But he also won his race that his
Did.
24-hour virtual Le Mans race that he was also racing at while not simultaneously, but over the weekend.
He was in the car, but he was also online.
Like, talk about someone being chronically online. Max Verstappen being able
Max
to
Verstappen.
win two racing series this weekend, one that involved very little sleep. So I have to admit, he's got what it takes.
I mean, he sure does.
But he almost didn't have what it takes because Lil Landy was hot
Little
on his
Landy, a
tail.
little speed demon.
He
I
was
was, I was aghast. I was watching. So I was watching the race, and it was kind of boring for a while
90% of it was
until
like
like the last 10 laps, and then you see Lando just getting closer and closer.
it's ticking up and
I
up
was
and
like,
up.
I was like, is
I'm
this
like, oh, he's in DRS zone. Like
like is this
he's
gonna
under a
happen?
second.
I think that if the race was 2 more laps, he would have done it.
Yeah.
I believe that to my core. I believe that. But it was crazy. I was like, I mean, I just think McLaren's got to be feeling so good. And Charles had a little quickness going on there for a little bit. But I don't know. I think this was a very like
Fred.
classic. What?
It was Fred talking about Mercedes being like, yeah, they were 28 seconds behind Charles, so I guess they're getting a little closer. Gagged.
Uh,
He gagged Toto a little bit there.
like so funny. So funny. So that was Italy in a little bit of a quick but brief precap. And now we're going to go ahead to the Monaco Grand Prixview. Monaco, Monaco, Monaco.
Monaco.
Monaco. Monaco, Monaco. So Monaco is one that is constantly on the brains
Hmm.
for F1 fans. It is relatively boring, but it is also very historic. So everyone's kind of always on the fence. Should it stay? Should it go? What should we do? I don't see it going anywhere anytime soon. But I did have a look at the weather, and as of right now, it is sunny and 72 on Sunday. There is a little bit of rain on Saturday, though, so that could spice things
Well,
up a
which we know qualifying is kind of the big day for the Monaco Grand
bit.
Prix because passing is not really a thing that you can do in
No,
Monaco. So qualifying kind of sets the stakes for Sunday.
it does. So we'll see. There is a little rain in the forecast. Do you have any predictions for what is going to happen this year in Monaco?
I think that Charles is going to podium.
I need him to.
I
It's
think Charles
just
is going to
like,
podium. It's his year. I'm feeling good about it. I think Charles is going to podium. He's fresh off of his Lec launch event this week in Milan. I think it's going to be fantastic.
do you have
He's like,
another one?
maybe it was in Monaco. He had a launch event this week,
Oh, hmm.
but he's probably feeling good after the podium last week.
Yeah.
I think he's
Confidence is
jazzed.
skyrocketing.
Yeah, he's got a son to impress now.
He
Both
does. Two.
both he has two sons to impress now, Leo and Oscar. So
Yeah.
I think he's gonna pull it out.
Yeah. If you missed it, how could you? First of all, our fave. Oscar just wants to be,
Our
he's a man
fave.
of the people.
He's
He's
coming up the ranks.
he's truly
We've
Mr. Worldwide because
famously been
he's a
like,
citizen of the world. Oscar is a citizen of humanity,
mhm,
and he wants every race to be his home race. And so he decided, he said, I'm going to see if I have any Monegasque roots. And Charles said, I'll adopt you if you need me to. And then my favorite part, Oscar's mom came in and was like, I have some questions.
this.
It was like, this is iconic. So yeah, Charles has adopted Oscar.
Mhm.
So I mean, father son rivalry at
Yeah,
home.
at home.
What are we gonna get here? I feel like this could go so many different ways.
Yeah, do you think he's gonna disown Oscar if Oscar comes ahead of him?
Or is he gonna help him? We'll shake and bake.
Who's to say?
We'll have to wait and find out, I
We'll
guess.
have to. I guess we'll see, as they famously say.
So I'm excited. I can't wait. Monaco Grand Prix is always on my birthday weekend, so it's always fun for us. We'll be together yet again, and it'll be so much fun. I can't wait.
And the rumors are saying Taylor Swift and Travis are going to be there. So
I mean, the
maybe
rumors said about Miami, and she didn't
I
show up.
know, but she is in Europe, and so they are on a kind of a whimsical Italian vacation right now. So we'll
It
see. We'll see.
remains to be seen, but I'm hopeful.
Eyes and ears peeled, ladies.
I am hopeful. All right, so it's time for our next segment, the Two Girls O'Clock News. I don't know how to say that. The 2 o'clock news. 2 girls o'clock news.
Hmm.
2 girls o'clock news. 2 girls o'clock news.
You're
It
trying.
does. I'm trying. I'll get the flow. Once we do this a little more often, I'll get the flow.
I think
Um,
the 2 o'clock news is great.
2 girls o'clock news. We gotta tie it in. Two girls.
I know, but I mean, we are two girls. I think people are going to get it if we're just 2 o'clock news.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, the 2 o'clock news. So we have three headlines that we want to talk about. Three things we are discussing this week. Back to Art and Senna. Big week to be Art and Senna.
Huge week to be
RIP.
Senna.
McLaren unveiled its Senna livery for Monaco this weekend,
They
and it
love they love
is
a they love
a
a
Monaco livery.
unique, yeah, a Monaco livery.
Yeah, and it's really good.
It is. I
I
really
have to
like
say, of teams that do special liveries, McLaren is up there with the ones that execute
it. Yeah,
like the right way.
100%.
I'm really into it. Like we saw with their golf livery for Monaco, but this Senna one is really nice. I think it's gonna look really good on track, and it really just it looks exactly like what they wanted it to. So
Yeah.
I'm psyched about it, and I can't wait to see it whip around that track. Next up, a little silly season update. Alex Albon has officially re-signed with Williams.
Yeah.
Are we surprised? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm surprised. I think a lot of the conversation we've been having with folks in the DMs this week, I have been on the more positive side saying, I think he knows things that we don't. Things that
Mm-hmm.
he's privy to about strategy
Yeah,
and upcoming contracts that's just we simply don't have knowledge into.
agreed.
And again, a couple of weeks ago, we talked about how Adrian Newey is leaving Red Bull, and there's a lot of talk around town of where he's going. And I had heard a rumor that he had said that he would be really interested in going to Williams. And so to me, I'm like, hey, maybe Alex knows that that's going to be true. And Williams has a really bright future ahead of them. So
Yeah.
we both know, and I think a lot of people who listen to this podcast and watch Formula One, Alex is one of the greats. I
Mm-hmm.
think he has the potential to be really, really good. I saw a quote recently about how like George, Lando, and Alex really like came up together.
Mm-hmm.
And George was like, yeah, like Lando really looked up to Alex. Like he had a poster of him, like he loved him. And he's like, it feels like Alex is being left behind
Yeah.
while we're seeing kind of success at these bigger teams. And he's like, and it's really disheartening. So I think that to me, that signals Alex's like belief in Williams becoming a really great
Yeah.
team again.
I agree. And I think James has good plans. I think it's kind of what we talked about on last week's episode with Abby, where I was saying one of Danny's biggest mistakes was leaving Renault too soon
Mhm.
because he had a team principal that believed in him, that believed in the team, and had plans. And I think that that's similar to what Alex has right now. And I think that he is actually like fully a team kind of franchise team player and is like, okay, I believe in James and I know that James believes in me. And
Yeah.
so I'm going to like stick this out because I think like I trust James' plans
Yeah.
for the team,
Yeah. I
which I
agree.
think.
So we'll see. I have faith. I really love Williams as a team, and so I want to see them succeed. And I think that this to me is an indicator that things are on an upward trajectory for them.
Yeah, I agree. All right, and this last headline, things to talk about. Joe Biden,
Joe Biden has entered the chat. Okay.
President of the United States of America, has been asked formally to investigate Formula One and their rejection of Andretti's bid to join the grid.
Yes. So
America just
I'll read
remains
some
so
of the quotes.
unserious.
So unserious. So this is kind of an incredible movement. It is bipartisan. And if you know anything about American politics, getting bipartisan agreement on anything is almost impossible these days. So the fact that they crossed the aisle, the Republicans and the Democrats both believe that this is a pressing issue is kind of insane
Just
to me.
insane, truly
So, in
insane.
a letter sent on Tuesday, Senator Amy Klobuchar, she is Democrat from Minnesota, she called on the Justice Department's Antitrust Division and the Federal Trade Commission to look into the decision more closely. The letter suggests F1 is working on behalf of other teams and foreign automakers to block Andretti's entry, pointing out any group boycott of the Andretti bid would violate U.S. antitrust laws. So we know that Andretti has been pushing for it. They've basically been denied. F1's decision was outlined in a public statement in January, which said there would be doubts about whether Andretti could be competitive in F1 and questioned whether allowing an All American bid would add value to the championship in its existing form. Now, this is where it gets interesting, and this is where I was kind of cackling because one of the strongest points raised in the letter is a response to the suggestion that Andretti would not bring value to the championship. The senators point out that F1 is full of teams who are uncompetitive. The vast majority of F1 teams fail to win races in a given season. In 2023, a single team won all but one race, and half the teams in F1 failed to win a race in the past 4 seasons combined. They said, you've got some losers, so what the fuck are you talking about? It says, on the charge
They're
of not
not
adding
wrong.
value.
They're not wrong.
Most striking, however, was Formula One's management decision that bringing Team Andretti into F1 would not add value. While F1 currently does not have an American based team, which Haas is maybe, F1 has been determined to increase its presence in the US market. Over the past few years, more than 1 million Americans have tuned into each F1 race. more than doubling over the past few seasons. Even individual teams such as Red Bull are courting US fans by hosting events in US cities to get up close and personal with the marvel of Formula One engineering. Clearly, there's a financial incentive to adding an American team to F1's roster, and there's no reason Team Andretti Cadillac should be blocked unless Formula One management is trying to insulate its current partners from competition. So they basically said, we have receipts, bitch, and we know that you're basically being unfair, and we're going to throw the book at you. So while I believe there are many more pressing matters for Joe Biden to use his resources on, I do find it incredibly hilarious.
Yes.
Similar to when Nikita Mazepin sued Canada, that the United States of America is going to be suing Formula One.
It's just, it is so funny. There's one thing that's going to bring people together. It's Formula One. Am I right? It is so funny to me, and I'm on the edge of my seat to see where this goes from here.
Yeah.
Like, Uncle Joe, are you going to fix this problem? Or are you going to set your sights to other things? Are you going to erase my student debt? Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. Are we going to be kind of not spending so much money on the military and foreign wars, or are we going to be trying to get Andretti into Formula One? Like, what's kind of the
What's
plan, Joe?
what's on the agenda?
Joe, you need to be prepping for your
What is
debate.
on your to-do list?
You need to be prepping for your debate against Donald Trump in a couple of weeks, okay? Not meddling in Formula One affairs, okay?
Okay, but what if one of the questions is how, if you're elected
What's
president,
your action
what's
plan?
your plan for Formula One in the United States of America?
It's like when Ken Bone became a meme. Like someone's gonna stand up as an undecided voter and be like, "I'm actually hinging my vote on whether or not you do anything about Andretti getting into Formula One."
Like, it's just,
So unserious.
it's comical. It's comical. We live in a tragic comedic series.
Yeah,
Like, we live in a sitcom in
yeah,
this country.
yeah.
You come to
It's
America, congratulations. You have your 15 minutes of fame because you're in a live sitcom. And that's just where we're at. And
absolutely,
anyways, and those are the things you need to know this week.
and that's what you missed on
Key
Glee.
things. And that's what we missed on Glee. Now we're getting into our new segment, Social Stars.
Love
What did
that.
people do on the internet that we loved this week? And there are a lot, but we picked three. We're gonna pick
Hmm.
three. Try to keep it to three things every week. And I think first of all is we got to give all of the props, all of the awards, all of the kudos to our favorite Stake F1 teams.
Webby Award.
Ad-
They the steak admin once again. We're out here gassing up the steak admin like regularly on this podcast,
like
but
regularly.
like
Number one fans. If they have no fans, we're dead.
like I'm obsessed with them. They Every day I log on to Instagram and I'm filled with joy to see what new trend they've gotten Valtteri Bottas to do this week. And it's
It's so
I
funny.
am that clip of Michelle Obama. You've done it again, girl. Flawlessly raising the bar for all of us. I'd say I'm surprised, but I know who you are and I'm proud of you. That is how I feel because
Like, it's just so funny. Talk about unserious. Valtteri Bottas so unserious in the most iconically incredible way.
I'm
Like,
so deeply in love with him.
so deeply in love with him in just every single way possible. Like, romantically, yeah, I'm in love with him. Platonically, also in love with him. Like, comedically, very much in love with him. Like, every single way that you can be in love with someone, I'm in love with Valtteri Bottas. Like,
It's very much
mm,
we talk about this kind of regularly, but there's Cringe Mountain, right? You got to hike up Cringe Mountain before it's cool, right? Like you got to post shit on the internet and you got to like do stupid shit before it's cool and people like stop thinking that you're embarrassing. And I think if any of the other drivers tried to pull off what Stake is doing with their drivers, we'd be like, that's cringe. That's so fucking cringe. Max
yeah.
Verstappen trying to hold up a sign behind their engineer saying, keep doing your job if you think I'm sexy. Like, I'm so sorry. Like everyone would be like, cringe, 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 enough.
Like he's just incredible, and I want the world for him, and I think that he adds so much value to my life and my social media feeds. So
Keep up the good work,
golf
Steak.
clap for
We're your
Steak.
biggest fans.
Someone else who I'm their biggest fan is Lewis Hamilton. And another person that I'm fucking actually in love with is Lewis Hamilton. Watching that video of him announcing the Denver Broncos schedule by eating foods from each of the cities that they're
Mhm.
going to be playing brought just truly unbridled joy to me. Like it's the most like personality we've gotten from Lewis in a while. I feel like
Mhm.
he takes himself pretty seriously, as he should. He deserves to be taken seriously and taking
He's a
himself.
knight and a distinguished gentleman.
He is a knight. But this video was so funny, and I feel like he doesn't really bring out his like funny, silly, joking around personality all too often. And
Mhm.
this it was just perfect. Him just choking on the grits,
Yeah.
just like like dry heaving them up, being like, "What was that?" Like mood. I personally love grits, so I can't actually relate. But like, I also have never had a vegan grit, so maybe that is fucking bad.
You need a lot of butter in your grits.
Yeah, like they need to be buttery and cheesy. Like, sorry that I don't make the rules, but like
Yeah.
that's literally how grits are meant to be eaten.
Yeah. No,
But
again, the best thing for me right out of the gates was Lewis Hamilton. And I, honest to God, thought that this is what he said, where he said, I don't believe in Indiana. I thought that was a full sentence. And I said, me either. My guy, fuck Indiana. I don't believe in them either. But he said, I don't believe that in Indiana they're eating carrots, which also kind of a jab. He kind of roasted
roast,
them a little bit. But
roasted.
they served up a plate of celery and carrots with ranch dressing to Lewis Hamilton.
Okay,
And
first of all, I had a red flag when he was like, "I'm not really a ranch guy," and I said, "Fucking hell, there had to be something about him. There had to be one thing." But then he was like, "This actually kind of slaps," and I was
and he
like,
was like, "This is banging," and I was like, "I feel so validated. My existence, Hamilton, just validated my entire
every
existence
single
by
piece of
saying that
me.
he actually thought ranch dressing was banging because that is the correct answer. And if you don't like
Correct.
ranch dressing, then in
Get
the
the fuck
immortal words of Ricky Bobby, then fuck you.
like it's the best condiment.
It truly is.
Which something that I've been thinking about recently is a little off topic, but just a question for you. And I would love to ask Lewis this as a vegan who definitely needs to like season his foods more than the average. What is your favorite spice to cook with outside of the norm that is like salt, pepper, garlic powder? Those would I would call those like the big three. What is your favorite seasoning to like what are you kind of
A go-to for me is smoked paprika.
okay, same.
I love
I'm on a
I'm
big pepper
off
journey
I'm off
lately.
a regular paprika. I don't fuck with a regular paprika anymore. Like it has to be smoked.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've been on a big paprika kick lately. Like everything I do, including my eggs, have paprika in them.
I put paprika on almost everything because I think it just
I
creates
put
like
that shit on
such
everything.
a lovely mwah.
It's so good.
That and ginger.
Oh,
I put
okay,
ginger
that's
in a
fun.
lot of things. Yeah.
Nick's a big curry guy.
Mm,
He fucks with a curry
yeah.
real hard. Do you have
Yeah.
a favorite like spice blend? Like what's your favorite like, they have like everything but the bagel, everything but the elote. They have like a garam masala.
Honestly, my favorite is the Cezanne spice mix. It's like chicken bouillon,
Mm.
oregano, basil, salt, pepper, garlic, and then chili powder, and it's just really
Oh.
good. Like I literally put that shit in everything. Um, so that one, and then also from Trader Joe's, the citrusy garlic blend is like my big
Mm.
fave right now.
Love that. I am a Cajun spice
Mm,
girl. I put Cajun spice on
yeah,
everything, on my potatoes,
I mean the
on
holy trinity. We've got paprika, cayenne, salt, pepper, garlic. Like that's what else
it's
do you need?
just what else do you need? It's
Yeah.
so good. My big thing is roasted chickpeas with Cajun seasoning.
Hmm.
Make 'em crispy, Give them a
Mm.
little spice, but not too much. Oh, they make everything better. Anyways, I bet Lewis would like those too. So the last thing on social media that we have to talk about. Sorry, I couldn't hold in my chuckle at that one. Is George Russell cosplaying as Amelia Earhart.
It was so funny to
The
me.
number of DMs, because we didn't say Amelia Earhart when we posted the photo, but everyone else did for us. The amount of DMs we got of people replying, just being like Amelia Earhart, Amelia, but like also nothing else, just Amelia Earhart
And
was
James Coker making the video, he's like, "We did it. We found her. After years of
welcome back.
searching, we welcome back Amelia Earhart." I literally spit out my drink. I was laughing so hard because he did. He looked exactly like her. And this is what we mean when we say George has such a period piece face. Like, that man could fit into almost any time period. He's an alien. He is a chameleon. What's going on?
He is literally the Keira Knightley of F1. Like he and Knightley could be put in any time, and they would just work.
They just work. George has an every year face.
Like I would love a like even if it was one of those weird like perfume like cologne commercials, like a fragrance commercial starring Keira Knightley and George Russell in like period clothing.
That would be hysterical. I would love
I
to see
need to see
that.
them together. Like I need their two faces together, like so
Yeah.
bad. Like but in real life, like not
Yeah.
like Photoshop. I need to see them together dressed in period clothing. Like I need them to do like a reenactment or something. Like I need something from the two of them.
They're out in Civil War
My
reenactment.
new my new make a wish. All right. It's time for fast fashion.
Let's get into
Zoom.
it. Shoo,
Zoom.
shoo,
Zoom, 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 zoom.
shoo.
Fashion. Walk,
And
walk.
we're not talking
But
about
you know what
Shein
it
up
is?
in
It's
here.
zoom, zoom, fashion, baby. We're gonna come up with jingles for all of these segments, guys. Just you wait. So three things that we need to discuss for fast fashion this week. I'm gonna list them out. Carlos's mustache, Lily He's CoverGirl spread, Flavy's night court coated can dress.
Hmm.
Let's get into it. The mustache. We made
Hey,
this happen.
hey, shoot me, put me in jail, I guess, because I loved the mustache. I loved it.
There
Unpopular opinion alert.
certain angles. Okay, that one we posted, I was like, whew, schwitzing.
I had drool. Like, I was drooling. I was like, that is a man. That is a
It was so
man.
hot. It's honestly, as I've said on here, and you never understand my references for this, and I'm going to need you to get on top of it. But I am doing an Entourage rewatch right now, and as one of like the biggest storylines in Entourage throughout like almost all the seasons is that Vince wants to make the movie Medellin, and obviously it's about Pablo Escobar,
Mhm.
and it's like his passion project, and he spends like several seasons trying to make it and it doesn't work out. Finally he makes it and it's a fucking flop. Spoiler alert. But it always makes me laugh because I was like, in some photos Carlos is giving Vince's bad hair and makeup as Pablo Escobar, but in other photos he's giving like, that is a hot Pablo Escobar." Like it's so funny. No. It makes me laugh so hard. Like this is like Adrian Grenade is arguably like at that time period, especially one of the hottest people
100%.
ever.
A hundred
And
percent.
just made him look so bad, like specifically for the plot.
I
It was
mean,
amazing.
of course, but that's so funny.
Yeah. So I couldn't stop thinking about that when Carlos came out with his mustache. But that one photo, I was like, whew,
With
I'm
his
sick.
slick back hair, I just was like, oh my
Yeah.
God.
It just like
Oh
it
my God.
it's when the mustache is groomed correctly. And this is what I think sets men apart sometimes. If you're gonna have facial hair, you need to groom it
Hmm.
appropriately. Similarly to how I have
Lando.
hair and I groom it to look nice.
Hmm.
Maybe not all the time, maybe not today. But usually I will try. So if I'm gonna have something on my face, I'm gonna need to do it. Pierre needs some help here because Pierre sometimes looks very good with facial hair, except when he just lets it run wild. He needs to groom it. You know what I mean? We're
Mhm.
talking about Seb talking about his hair, bringing it back when it was unruly and ungroomed. It looked crazy, but
Mhm.
now he's like, it's that's what it needs to be. And if you're gonna have a mustache, you need to make the mustache work.
You need to make it work. And
A
he
mustache
personally, for
does
me,
not a
he did.
hot man make. The hot man makes the mustache.
True.
You can't wear the you can't you have to wear the mustache. You can't let the mustache wear you. You know what I'm saying?
You can't handle the mustache.
And I'm a mustache girl. I'm always begging Nick to keep his mustache, and he never will. And it's very upsetting to me. So I was kind of validated when Carlos had one,
Yeah.
and it looked good in that photo. I was like, see, Nick,
Mhm.
keep your damn mustache. Okay,
Okay.
next up, Lily He, our queen.
I tried to read an article from this magazine. I couldn't find anything.
Mm.
I tried to look for it. Champion China had
She looks
Lily,
stunning.
beautiful, beautiful Lily on the cover. And I was really obsessed with her looks from this.
Mm-hmm.
I,
It's just so beautiful.
to be honest though, Lily can wear anything.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I mean, we know this. Everyone knows this. But I I'm just like I was obsessed with the looks and she looked so
Yeah.
happy too.
She looked really, really, really good.
Like look at her.
Yeah.
Not gonna
She's
lie, this one kind of looks like a senior portrait though.
it does.
And for
She is,
everyone who's listening, I'm talking about slide, the one slide where she kind of has her hand on her face and it looks like a senior portrait. So you can go look at that. For anyone on YouTube, you'll be able to see the photo.
it's it she looks like this photo looks like a senior portrait. And for anyone not looking,
She,
I'm talking about the photo that looks like she's in a senior portrait.
like put some text on here that says she's committed to UCLA golf team on a full scholarship. Like that's what
Yeah,
this
it
caption
is.
needs to be.
It does. No, it's funny. She's just so beautiful. And I like when she does shoots like this because I like to see her style get like pushed to the edge a little bit. Like I like seeing her in like funky outfits and like
Whereas
yeah,
this one,
I mean
the red dress kind of situation. Now this is giving hot internet
glasses.
it girl.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Office siren of the
mhm,
21st century.
yeah,
Like she looks so good and I really do cuz you're right. She can wear anything and her like fashion sense is really really great, but I really like when they push the boundaries with her
mhm.
and like try to put her in something that like most people just could not pull off, but she pulls it off and it's so fun. I feel like she's kind of like a Zendaya in that way where like how did I just say that? The Zendaya in that way where like she can kind of wear anything,
Yeah,
but like she just pulls off the weirdest things. And
hmm,
not a lot of people can do that.
no,
And
no,
I think Lily's one of them.
yeah. Like, try putting like Alex or Flavy in those outfits. Like, they're looking so out of place.
It wouldn't work. And not because they're not like stunningly beautiful, but it just doesn't
It
work.
doesn't work.
It just wouldn't feel right. Where like on Lily, it feels right.
Yeah, 100%.
Now, speaking of Flavy,
Hmm.
we got to talk about her.
So she,
Feyre,
yeah,
High
Feyre, is that you?
Lady of the Night Court.
So her and Esteban were at the Cannes Film Festival this weekend. This week it's what, Wednesday, it's Tuesday. I don't even know what fucking day it is. The past couple of days they've been at the Cannes Film Festival.
They were there.
And yeah, and if you remember from last year, Kika and Pierre made an
Hmm.
appearance.
Yeah,
So they said, okay, you guys had your shot. Now it's
our
Esteban's
turn.
turn. And I guess I learned this from one of our followers that they actually use the same stylist as Pierre and
Hmm.
Kika. So kind of a carbon copy of them. But Flavia is wearing this beautiful kind of like naked dress with like
Hmm.
black kind of tendrils coming up to cover her boobs and then like deep V sheer into like more detail, and she looks stunningly gorgeous as she does in
Well,
almost everything, but it was very much giving High Lady of the Night Court.
it was giving um the dress when like the meeting of the High Lords.
Hmm.
Like she wears that dress, like
It was
yeah,
just, it's so stunning. And I was like, yeah, I need someone to immediately draw her as like High Fae.
Riley.
I need someone to draw her as High Fae in this dress,
Yeah,
with some swirly tattoos up her arms
like
and cosplay
so
as Feyre.
need it expeditiously. Yesterday, I need it.
Yesterday.
And I think this is a good segue
Hmm.
to our segment. You know where you love her, the
The
girls.
girls' room. We haven't done it in a while.
We haven't done it in a while. So, like I said, we're going to pick one wag every week to talk about. It could be someone that's kind of just on our mind, someone that did something special that week, a new wag. We could do deep dives. So, like, if there's ever a wag that you guys are like extra curious about, just let us know, and maybe we'll
Mhm.
pick them for our girls' room segment of that week. But today, I really want to talk about Alex St. Malo
Please.
because I think she's had a huge wag glow up
She
this season.
has.
This season, especially, I think that she really has kind of come into her own and she's like kind of turned the narrative around.
Mm.
So, last year, about this time last year, was her first introduction on the grid. I think she came to Monaco and that was the first time she was
Yeah,
at,
truly.
and because I remember we had to do a we had to do
At
an
Boston
emergency
Calling. Yeah, yeah.
um and so for a while, because I mean it was in typical Charles fashion, it was pretty quick after his breakup with Charlotte.
Hmm.
And so people were kind of skeptical and they were like, they look alike, they look the same. Like, but I don't know what to think about her. She's boring, she's private, we don't know anything about her. Like, what was the timeline? Obviously, we're gonna slut shame her because couldn't be his problem if he cheated on Charlotte with her. Had to be her fault. So which allegedly nobody knows. But I think that like to go from there to where she is this year,
Yeah.
huge glow up. Like I just think that she
Her
has
style
really,
has, she got a stylist for
yeah,
sure,
she's
because her style has like been so elevated this
so
season.
elevated. And I think that people are like kind of started out being like, oh, she's super private, like that's like boring and sketchy and like whatever. But I think people are kind of liking it now. Like, okay, she's just kind of like minding her own business, but like she pops up in other ways. Like she'll tag Wags and other things. They'll tag her. Like she and Rebecca have a cute little friendship. She and Kika were hanging out in Miami.
Yeah.
And like I think here's the thing. If you want people to like you, get a dog. And be cute with that dog, like always. Like her content with
Yeah.
Leo
Leo elevated her
exponentially.
so many ranks.
Like I just think that she is also showing off her personality a little more. She's showed up in some of Charles's videos. I don't know, I just think it's like really interesting that she's had such a kind of 180 from where people started with her. And I don't think that people compare her to Charlotte a ton anymore. I don't even think that they look alike anymore.
Hmm.
Like I think it was just like at the beginning it was easy to compare,
It was
but
kind of like shell shock a little bit.
yeah,
You're like, hold on.
hold on, they look similar. But I don't think that they do anymore. And I think that like I don't know. It feels good. Like it feels like a nice relationship for Charles to be in. So I'm supportive. I'll say it.
I'm so glad that you love your man's woman.
I'll support him if he supports me.
Hey, you know what? He did finish the Monaco Grand Prix last year. So
Yeah.
maybe Alex is his good luck charm and he will do really good this year because,
Yeah.
again, he has two sons to impress.
Yeah. I also like, I don't know, we've talked about Alex before and being like, oh, she has like this art Instagram. Like she doesn't, she's private on Instagram. But I think, so here's something that I noticed the other day because I'm like, I don't go to her Instagram ever because it's private. So like why I'm not going to like check to see if it's still private. I just like don't care enough. But I went to it the other day because she had tagged Rebecca in an Instagram story and Rebecca reposted and I was like, "Oh shit, does this mean that Alex is public now?" It didn't. But it made me think of you. It was very Nicole coded that her Instagram like icon is a very high def photo of the moon,
Mm-hmm.
but it's only the moon, so it doesn't look like it's an icon. It looks like there's just like a moon on her Instagram, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
"That's for Nicole,"
Yeah.
and it
So
was very
Nicole Coven.
cool. And I was like, "That's so like fun and Gen Z of her."
Yeah.
So I was just appreciative of that.
Yeah. I love it.
So I'm Team Alex. In case
Love to
anyone.
hear that.
All right, our final news segment of the day, bitching hour.
It's bitching hour.
What are we complaining about this week, Nicole? Tell me.
I love to complain about how the Christian Horner situation really fell off. I'd love to complain about how we have heard no updates
None.
about how things are going. And I understand that litigation takes a long time, but I would expect, and I actually demand, that more journalists in F1 are constantly asking Christian about it.
Yeah.
I want people asking him every single week. I do not want him to have a moment of peace from these allegations because we're just, oh, it's swept under the rug. Fuck it. It was a huge
Yeah.
thing and now
And
it's
all
done.
the and
Oh my
all the
god.
team principals that like demanded transparency, like, okay, now I see that was super performative of you because you don't care now.
Yeah. So
We
it's
didn't
like,
get transparency that you were demanding, so are you just you're now you're not going to talk about it. Meanwhile, if there was ever like an infraction on the track and nothing came of it like 3 weeks later, you would still be talking about it.
yeah,
So
like,
you were just doing that
for
because you
what?
knew it made you look good.
It's so frustrating. And like, I'm not surprised, but I am disappointed. Like, I was
Yeah.
hoping that maybe we were going to see just an inkling of growth in this area,
Yeah.
and we really haven't. And it just goes to show time and time again that if you are a powerful man and you are good at your job and you make people money, you will never face any consequences for your actions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so it's just disappointing, but it's like also, I mean, Yost faced those consequences. He hasn't been at a race in 6 races. He got
Mm-hmm.
punished. So it's just kind of like, where are we drawing the line?
Mm-hmm.
And why are we just seemingly forgetting
Yeah.
that
Like
Christian
what was the
has these
point?
allegations against him?
Yeah.
So that's my bitching hour.
Perfect. That was great.
So if you feel like bitching too, leave a comment.
All right. It's manifest minute. Usually we use this time to manifest for one of you good souls out there. But we have another soul that really needs us this week.
And this kind of brings us full circle because this was kind of our first manifest minute years
It
ago.
was. It was.
Years ago on the pod, we wanted to manifest a Charles podium. I think that was the one where he had engine problems and didn't even start the race.
We hadn't perfected our manifesting
That's
powers
what I'm
yet.
saying. I think at this point we've had a lot of practice under our belt. We were
We were novices at that
we
point.
were putting the cart before the horse, back then. And I think now we're ready to revisit this
I
and
think so
really
too.
give it our all.
Yeah. Yeah.
So today we will be manifesting for a Charles podium. I'm not going to say he's going to win. I think we'll be really happy to have him standing on the podium this weekend. So
Agreed.
everyone take this so seriously. Like, be so fucking
So
for real right now.
serious.
This is so serious. This is the most
This is
serious manifest
so
minute we've ever done.
serious.
Okay. So if
And
everyone,
if Nicole and I are putting everything into this, so if he doesn't get on the podium, it's you guys'
it's
fault.
your fault. So
Okay.
if everyone out there could close their eyes, even if you're driving, close your eyes. Just kidding. Legally, don't do that. So
For
everyone,
legal reasons, that was a joke. Open your eyes back up if you're driving right now.
keep them open forever. Don't even blink. So if everyone could close their eyes, take a deep breath in, deep breath out. And I need you to picture one thing and one thing only. And that is Charles Leclerc standing on the podium of the Monaco Grand Prix. You can envision him wherever you want. First place, second place, third place, wherever you can also envision where your fave is on the podium as well. But Charles has to be there. The Monaco flags are flying high. His friends are cheering from their balconies. People are popping champagne all across Monaco. You can hear the whooping of joy from across the city, this small nation state. And Charles has the biggest grin on his face that we've ever seen.
He's crying a little.
He's crying a little because he has
crying a little.
broken his Monaco curse. He's bringing home a trophy for his collection from the Monaco Grand Prix, something that he's been dreaming about since he was a wee lad. Now let's seal that in with a big breath in, big breath out, and let's open our eyes. And let's go forward this week with the thought and feeling of us accomplishing something that we've always put our mind to. It could be little, it could be starting a new hobby that you've always wanted to do. It could be getting a promotion that you've always wanted. It could be going on a trip that you've been planning for years, big or small. But you have accomplished something that you have put your mind to after a long time of working towards. Let's send that energy out into the universe for our man, Charles, because we know he has the means to succeed this weekend.
Does.
And that's all she wrote. So we'll check in. We'll check in next Thursday, and we'll either be really happy or we will swear off manifesting for Charles Leclerc ever again.
For the rest of time, truly.
You can quote us on that.
You can quote us. So, and stay tuned for that. Let us know if you guys liked this new breakdown
Format
of an episode. We'll see you next week when we either are manifestors or are swearing off. But in the meantime,
we'll see you on the internet.
Bye. Bye. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of TG1F, an F1 podcast with Kate and Nicole.
If you like what you heard, don't miss out on the fun between episodes.
Keep up with the chaos on Instagram at 2 Girls 1 Formula. That's spelled out TWO Girls numerical 1 Formula.
And check out our website, 2girls1formula.com, to shop cute fan-made F1 merch.
See you next week.
But like we said, in the meantime, we'll see you on the internet.